Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel, welcome to the end of a series, welcome to something that I put off for a month because I was so done with Alex Parker that I didn't want to do it, but I finally did it, and here we are, the Alex Parker end of career recap. Nothing too special here today, we're just going to look over the career of Alex Parker, who's our shortstop on MLB 22. Honestly, he was a pretty good time, and we played a good bit with him. I say a good bit because we played 837 episodes with him. So, we got our time in here, that is for sure. But yeah, this is going to be just kind of a rundown of exactly the path we took, and some stats and accolades that Alex accumulated along the way. So, let's do it, man. Career-wise, Parker started in 2022 being a mid-round draft pick by the Los Angeles Angels and getting sent to the Rocket City Trash Pandas out of Huntsville, Alabama. Parker then put on an absolute show, showing off some great bat skills, along with a great glove, hitting .370 with 17 homers, 71 RBIs, stealing 25 bags, and proving himself to be a valuable asset at the age of 18, where he then got called up to the Salt Lake Bees in AAA. Parker would only spend 10 games there, only hitting .256, but he did do one thing well, and that was show he had some pop. 6 homers in those 10 games got him called up to the MLB when the Angels needed a shortstop, so Parker got to spend the end of his first year of professional baseball already at the Bigs. In 2022, Alex put up a meh season, hitting below the Mendoza line for part of it. He eventually got his average up to .238. Adjusting to MLB pitching was pretty rough, I can't lie. He hit only 7 home runs with 23 RBIs, but he did steal 20 bags, and he was also a phenomenal fielder, making only 2 errors at .989 fielding percentage. That would be quite indicative of the rest of his career. The next year, Parker turned it on. 267, the power was there, 21 homers, 58 RBIs, still 38 bags, a much better OPS sitting at 800. But this is the only year that Alex Parker got a major injury, and we don't talk about it enough, but this dude got hurt once, and that was it. For the next 18 years after, he never got hurt. Other than getting pulled from a game for, cautionary reasons and missing a few games. Alex slid back into second on a pickoff attempt and broke his forearm. So he missed the end of the season, but he was a first-time All-Star in 2023. And then it became the reign of terror. We went 59 homers, 127 RBIs, and an OPS at 1004 in the following season, followed by multiple seasons of just absurd baseball. So this is year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, and year 7. And just absolutely dismantling teams. But somewhere around here is when we decided to make the jump over to the Milwaukee Brewers. I believe it was this year right here. Yeah. No, not to the Milwaukee Brewers. I apologize. We went from the Angels to the San Diego Padres to join up with Fernando Tatis. That was an interesting time. We had some fun there at the beginning, but things became quite clear that it wasn't going to work out. The Padres ended up signing another really high overall shortstop and Marco Luciano, and I just felt it was time that we needed to move on from the Padres after 3 seasons, and honestly 3 years of not amazing baseball. It was the only year in Alex's career outside of year 1 and year 2 where he didn't hit above a 1,000 OPS, which, in fairness, 999 is pretty close. But throughout all this, he's walking a bunch, he's stealing a bunch of bags, and he's definitely hitting a lot of home runs. Then in 2032, a ringless Alex decides it's time for something new, and he signs with the Milwaukee Brewers on a 10-year deal. Parker plays in his first season with the Brewers, winning his first World Series title. It was a magical moment in year 11 and something that I will always remember. Thank you, John Kinsey Noel, for that Game 1 grand slam. And yeah, it was awesome to finally win one after trying for so hard for so long. We then spent the next 9 years as well with the Brewers, making it to 2 more World Series. We did not make it in the year 2, but I think we made it in year 3 or year 4, one of those two. But we blew a 3-1 lead and could not capture another World Series. Parker continued to play, and in his last 5 years, we began the regression path, which you can see the home runs start to drop to 34, 38, 36, 36, and then finally 23. As well as the speed and stolen bases kind of dropped off as well. A late career miracle occurred last season, and in year 19, Alex Parker decided it was time to win one more ring. We made a miracle, and I mean miracle, World Series run. As you can see here, we actually played 163 games in this season, winning or losing the tiebreaker between the Reds and us. So we went to the wild card against the Marlins, swept them, and then had a really rough road between, I think, the Giants and the Braves to make it to the World Series, where we faced the Tigers and won in 6, Parker capturing his second ring and his first World Series MVP. 2041, our most recent year, was a retirement year, a send-off tour where we enjoyed just playing with him, and we didn't play amazing as a player or as a team, but it was good to see Alex one more time still playing at a high level. So that is the roadmap of Alex's 20-year career. It was a lengthy career. We've played so long, by the way, if you look here. It doesn't even have our full career at the bottom. It only goes back to 2027. Don't worry, I have some of that stuff. I've got stats written down that I've remembered. But I did want to talk about a couple other things, just some fun facts right here before we really get into stats. We faced, more than any other team, we faced the Cincinnati Reds, and we faced them 331 times. That is absurd. We also played the Cubs 322 times, Cardinals 320. Obviously, it's going to be all of our NL Central teams. Next up, you've got Rockies, Dodgers, which is kind of strange because D-backs and Giants are separated by the Mariners. So we played in the AL West, the NL West, and more than anything, the NL Central. So that's why you see all of these teams up here. Athletics, Rangers, and then you kind of get a drop-off after the Stros down to 161. So here's the rest of mostly NL teams with some AL teams here towards the bottom. The team we played the least, the Los Angeles Angels. We only got to play them 6 times in our whole career, which is really strange. I know we spent 7 years with them, but it's still very strange. 8 years with them. But yeah, it's really strange that we only played them 6 times. And like even the Brewers, who we spent half our career with, we at least played them 33. So a little strange there. Anyways, let's get into some of our stats and what went on with Alex. So, should I do stats or accolades first? I think I'm going to go with stats. Yeah. Parker played 3,074 games in his career. So he did get to cross that 3K mark. But let's do this. First and foremost, hits. We finished with 4,113 in our 20 years, finishing 3rd all-time, right behind Pete Rose and Ty Cobb. We were pretty close to Ty in taking 2nd, but Pete was a full season away, and we were not going to play our age 38 season. By the way, Parker retires at age 37, which you might say is young, but he started playing professional ball at 18. He has more at-bats than most people, and in fact, that's my next stat. At-bats, 12,344. That is also 3rd behind Pete Rose, and not Ty Cobb this time, but Hank Aaron. So, In runs, a recent record we broke with 2455. Alex Parker is your all-time leader. In doubles, by the way, smoking the next person. 964 is easily the record holder, and it makes sense as to why. We hit a lot of doubles in our career. A lot of two-baggers. Tons of 50-plus seasons, with even a 67 scattered in there. I think to tie the single-season doubles record. So that's awesome. From a triple standpoint, though, we really did. This is a stat that's kind of dominated by a lot of older people, and we were only tied for 33 with 163. Home runs, 830. Not even close first. We broke that a while ago. I believe in year... It was either year 18 or 19. I think it was year 18, definitely. So we break the home run record with 830. We also break the RBI record with 2437, another one that kind of went along with runs, which was awesome. Here's a stat that I'm extremely proud of, because it was one of my goals when I went into this series, understanding I wanted to create a realistic player that would play. You know, he's obviously amazing and going to be a Hall of Famer, and he is the GOAT. But I wanted to be able to do things like walk a lot and not hit unrealistically. So we walked a total of 1,344 times, which this might not seem like an awesome number to you, but that is 37th in walks. I was very proud of that all time. And I mean, I don't know. I'm happy with that number. Strikeouts, this was the unrealistic number, 790. That is, per at bat, the best strikeout ratio ever. Yeah, ever. Better than Tony Gwynn ever. Insane. Stolen bases. This is a record that I just couldn't break, and we wouldn't have enough time. Alex was getting slower towards the end. We finished with 1,036 stolen bases, which is awesome and all, but that is second all-time, behind Ricky Henderson by like 400 as well. So we were never actually that close to that. So yeah. All right, let's get into some percentage-based numbers. Starting with the good old trusty average. We're not... you have to take into account a lot of old players hit for really high averages, and in the modern era, things are a lot different. Regardless, Alex still places, hitting a 333 career average. That is 27th of all time. 27th, so top 30. And OBP, a 399, that's 54th all time. Not as good. About double the way up. But 399, I really wanted to get that to 400, but we were a lot of on-base attempts away from that because of how many at-bats and plate appearances we had. But yeah. In slugging percentage, Parker finishes third all-time, which is pretty awesome. And then in OPS, Parker finishes ninth. So, you know, percentage-based numbers, you get a lot of old guys that you will see a lot, you know, higher than you. But all things considered, for a modern-day player, Parker was an absolutely phenomenal hitter. He is the best shortstop ever. He is the best hitter ever. He is the best player ever in general. Just by the way, plate appearances, 13,911 with 7,893 total bags. We were plunked 99 times. We hit into 267 double plays. We were intentionally walked 98 times. And let's get into some of these fielding numbers. Alex was a phenomenal fielder. He was robbed of multiple gold gloves because of the game's bias, but a 994 fielding percentage is how he ends his career. Also, these last few years, 1,000, 998, 998. Just phenomenal. Only 62 errors made throughout his entire career. He made 8,490 assists, along with 2,225 putouts. In his career, he played 27,570 innings. Almost 571, but just an insane amount of innings. And for the big stat that this is the big one. he blew the guys out of the water with RBIs, runs, and home runs. But WAR, Alex Parker, 1.4 in year one, 3.6. But then after that, 11, 9.8, 14.2, 16.5. Alex started putting up legendary numbers, never finishing below 10 after that year 4 season, which was a 9.8. He puts up a 233.7 wins above replacement stat. Get this. He's first. I'm going to go top right. I think it might work better for this video. He is ahead of Babe Ruth, who's in second, by 50 wins above replacement. 50 wins above replacement. That is an absurd lead on that. Yeah, anyways, that's one stat that we should be proud of. Walk percentage at around a 9.5, K percentage at around 5.7, sorry, 9.7 and 5.7. Walks to strikeout rate, just crazy, 1.7. Isolated power, all these advanced metrics. If you're into this stuff, you can kind of get a good look at this. But a big thing here is runs created, 3,146, and stolen base runs being at a 183.6. Range factor's pretty high. Good secondary average. Power speed number is obviously off the chain. Good. So, yeah. Okay. Let's get into some accolades. Kind of the last thing I wanted to look at here. So, Parker, for the longest time, he got to 99 relatively early in his career, and we stuck at 99 until year 16, in which case we went through our first phases of regression, going down to a 95, and then a 92, and then an 89, and then an 85, and then an 84. But either way, we hit a 99 early. That 84 is his age 37 overall, and not indicative of what he did all around. The kid out of North Carolina became the greatest player of all time, and I'm about to prove it to you through a few of these. It got rid of my... Oh, it gets rid of your audio mixer if I change that? I'm sorry. Let me do this real quick. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Anyways. Actually, that doesn't look good. Whatever. Alex is a 19-time All-Star. So outside of his first year, he made the All-Star game in every single year, which is absurd, by the way. He's a 2-time World Series champion. Here, actually. Yeah. Beautiful. He's a 2-time World Series champion, the first being in year 11 and the second being in year 19, both with the Milwaukee Brewers, and both being the Brewers' only 2 titles in their entire existence. He is the World Series MVP for the 2040 season, which was again, a miracle run, and Alex supported that big time with some of the biggest hits you've ever seen. I'm just being honest. Sammy Ramos, shout out Sammy Ramos. That dude gets it. If you have anything you want to go watch from the series in general, I would say go watch that playoff run, which is in the more recent episodes. But yeah, Alex is a 15-time MVP. That is more MVPs than I believe anyone else in the history of baseball. An absurd amount of MVPs. He's also a 16-time Hank Aaron Award winner, as well as an 18-time Silver Slugger. I did not get a number on batting titles, sadly. I couldn't, because it didn't pop up. But it's a lot. There's a lot of batting titles in there as well. He's a 2-time Gold Glove shortstop, only winning it in the years where he didn't make an error, which is extremely tough that you can't make an error in general. He is a 1-time All-Star Game MVP, and I will have to admit that that is a self-appointed award, and that I gave that to him myself. But he deserved it. He went nuts. And last but not least in the accolades, his career earnings. He earned $420,870,368. Pretty good for a kid out of North Carolina. So, yeah. I am, I'm pretty happy with everything, man. I really liked how the series turned out. Um, and now we get to retire, which is awesome. I wonder if there's a cutscene or anything. Um, I don't know actually how to do that, if there is a way to do it. But we're going to do it real quick. And then I'm going to share some thoughts on certain things. And I might make a video later on, you know, I might make a video later on some of the things I think about doing something like this. A's won. I see a lot of guys retire. Freddie Soto retired. No contract offers, obviously. Oh, no. So there's no retirement? I thought I could have sworn there was a retirement and stuff. Let me look for that real quick and then I'll come back to you. So the word on the street is you can't really just retire, and that you have to kind of wait. You have to keep simming until you're like 45 and not sign with anybody, and I'm not going to do that. We're just going to call it a retirement and be happy with the way things are. But I want to share some thoughts on it. So I started this when it was March of 2022. I began this career. And I had done a few careers prior. I had done a center fielder. I had done a starting pitcher. And then I did a catcher. And then I did another starting pitcher. The furthest I got with one was the center fielder. And I got around year 6. And I had this idea that I wanted to do a whole series on a whole career. And I was going to do a whole career at some point in my lifetime. And so as a college student, I thought, why not go for it here on MLB 22. I was an engineering student. I didn't have much time to myself, but I marked out 30 minutes of my day to record and upload, and we began that journey. And I'd be lying to you if I said I'm not going to make this something that it's like, I'm not going to act like this was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But there were days that this absolutely sucked. To have to get up and have to record this game through literally everything. I didn't miss an upload day for 837 straight days. So I usually record it in the mornings, but to get up and have to record this game every day and stick to that strict schedule, it took some discipline, I would say, and making sure that I would stay on task and stay, consistent. And if you're thinking of doing it yourself, go for it. But I can't say that, it's absolutely worth it inside, like fulfilling wise. But it became a part of my everyday schedule. It became a part of my work. I just did it every single day. And I got used to it. And for 837 straight days, I put out an Alex Parker video. And we're doing a pitcher series now. He's on day 518, completely separated. And this series made me more mad than any other series I've had to do, because I played on directional hitting instead of zone because I wanted more realistic stats. And I know a lot of people in my comments have been really pushing for me to put this video out. And so we're finally here. But yeah, it kind of also grew my channel. Not kind of, it did. And I'm not even the biggest, I don't really want to be a YouTuber at all. I don't want to do any of that stuff. But I do want to say thank you, because, we're 837 days later, over 2 years, almost 2.5. And we're sitting here looking at something we started in 2022, completely finished. And a lot of you have been here to watch, whether you only saw the last few seasons, whether you saw the first few and then came back, whether you've been here the entire time, whether you're coming from another series and you're just interested, whether you're new. I just thank you because I wouldn't do it if I didn't post it, And I do enjoy posting. I enjoy giving my thoughts on things and playing video games in general, and specifically I love baseball. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and loving on Alex and the series some. And yeah, there's other stuff going on the channel. I upload quite often. Other games, other sports. We're into a football series now. There's another MLB series that's a pitcher. And I don't have any plans as of right now into starting another Road to the Show. And I don't think I will for a good while because this was quite taxing and we're still doing one. But yeah, there's other stuff on the channel. I'm so glad that y'all watched and enjoyed this series, and whether you enjoyed it or you didn't. And yeah, so for the last time, I will say goodbye to you with Alex Parker on the screen. If you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That is it for me. That is Alex Parker in the books.